It is way past my bedtime, but nature has called. Houston, we have a problem. This is actually really upsetting because I think there's a lot of things that are being misunderstood and completely lost in translation here. So just to catch you up, if you haven't been if you've been enjoying time with your family and haven't been paying attention to drama on X, there's been a pretty heated at times debate going on about H1B, I keep saying it wrong, H1B visas. And it started with Vivek and Ramaswamy. Basically, I'll give you the Cliffs Notes version because that's not the meat of what we're doing. Basically, we're taking the stance of we need to import more skilled labor. We need to import more H1B workers. And they were saying because there is a labor shortage in America, and obviously people were upset about this and were criticizing that and saying no. So it just kept getting worse. Vivek tried to explain it has to do with culture as well. I don't know. The whole thing was just getting worse. And what happened with this whole debate is people started actually looking at H1B visas, and it turns out there is a lot of misuse going on. So that's what we're going to get into, and that's what people are really upset about. No one is against having like high skilled people coming over, but people are against replacing American workers with cheap labor, and unfortunately that seems to be what a lot of companies are using H1Bs for. Okay, so Elon says the reason I'm in America along with so many critical people who built SpaceX, Tesla, and hundreds of other companies is that made America strong is because of H1B. Take a big step back and go, yikes, F yourself in the face. I will go to war on the issue, the likes of which you cannot possibly comprehend. We'll just go into my response. I made a whole thread about this, and then let me know what you think, if you agree with me or not. Also, if my giant headpiece offends you, you can get lost. I said, unfortunately, there is a part of this debate that's being lost in translation. Elon Musk is the ideal recipient of an H1B. The problem is not in the policy itself that it exists. The problem is the abuse and entry-level positions getting replaced for cheaper labor. There is a difference in adding talent rather than replacing someone for lower cost. One is righteous. One is righteous and the other is morally wrong. And you know what this whole thing just reminded me of? So I'm in SAG, that's the Screen Actors Guild, the big actors union. And when you're a SAG member, so basically that's to protect actors from being exploited, right? That's the whole idea. Leave your opinions on unions aside, but that is the ideal, right? That's what it's supposed to be. And within SAG, if you are a SAG production, if you hire an actor that is not already in SAG, you have to prove that that particular actor has a special skill that is unique to that person that is not already in your talent pool. Oh my gosh, I'm a genius. I should do stuff later more often. But you have to prove that that person has a unique talent that's not already in the pool that you have. And that's so that your established actors don't get overlooked. In my opinion, that should be like, if you have an H1B visa, like that's what it should be, right? Like you should say, if you're a company and you're looking for someone and this person in a different country has a special skill that is going to add to your company, bringing them in. But that's not what has been uncovered within this whole debate. Is that's actually not what's been happening a lot of time. And I think, unfortunately, I feel bad, but I think that's what Elon is completely missing in this whole debate. And I will say, you obviously have some idiots that are going to have idiotic things to say and will make it about race. So I don't know if that's what he's focused on, but I don't think that's what this is about for most people at all. So for instance, you have Disney about 8 years ago. Lawsuits claimed Disney colluded to replace U.S. workers with immigrants. They laid off all of these workers and forced them to train their foreign replacements, and this was under H1B. I am going to play you a testimony. I think we should watch the whole thing by one of the workers who endured this. I think we should watch the whole thing because millions of people feel pain like this all the time. And I have friends that have gone through mass layoffs just to watch their jobs go overseas. And I think that's really, really what this is about. Not bringing in specialized workers that are going to add to the workforce, but actually watching American citizens get replaced at entry level positions, that there are people available to work.
How was I going to break the news to my family and pay all of our expenses? I would soon be living on unemployment. Your jobs have been given over to a foreign workforce. In the meantime, you will be training your replacements until your jobs are 100% transferred over to them. And if you do not cooperate, you will not receive any severance pay.
Ugh.
Later that same day, I clearly remember going to the local church pumpkin sale and having to tell the kids I couldn't buy any of that here because of my job, but being turned over to a foreign worker. I started to think what kind of an American I was becoming. Was I going to become part of ruining our country by taking severance pay in exchange for training my foreign replacement? We all felt extremely humiliated when the foreign worker sat next to us and watched everything that we did. The final period of the 90 days was the most disgraceful and demoralizing, as we had to watch the foreign workers completely take over our jobs. And we came to grips that the upcoming Disney jobs promise didn't exist. How can it be that everybody that hears these stories about Disney and the like, from the barbers to the bankers, are completely shocked? Yet our lawmakers continue to evade the topic and take no action.
You can find the news articles about this situation, but I thought this conversation was really interesting. McDonald's hires foreign H1Bs, fires 70 Americans. So 70 Ohio jobs at McDonald's outsource lower wage foreign graduates are not Silicon Valley technology and software jobs. They're white collar accounting jobs performed by graduates from mainstream business schools. And here, if you want to pause to read that, you can, but they give all of these examples of these companies that aren't tech companies that are basically mass laying people off and bringing in foreign workers for cheaper labor, and they're using it under H1B. Oh, wait, let's read this. Americans want to like oh, this is interesting. The media often presents perspectives on immigration as either pro or anti. Americans want to like immigrants, and they want to like immigration in general, but they're growing worried that it's an economic threat to them and their children among companies, and now increasingly among voters. Immigration is all about the bottom line. And to conclude this presentation, here's the finale. I attached an article that says Google, Meta, and Amazon paid foreign workers lower wages after U.S. layoffs. And that came out in May of 2023. And this is October 2024, over 141,000 American layoffs in tech. So when I wrote, when Americans see stuff like this and are told there is a labor shortage and we need to import more workers, how do you think they are going to feel, especially after watching their country get invaded over the past 4 years? So I don't think anyone is against having specialized, high-skilled people come over, and I think everyone sees that that's a net positive, but it's stuff like this. This is why people have concerns over H1B. And unfortunately, again, I just think there's a whole piece of this that's just lost in translation or being misunderstood. I don't know. You tell me, what do you think?